Hello everyone, welcome back to KXAN Live. I'm Esmeralda Zamora and today we have a little bit of updates and recaps for you with our KXAN meteorologist, Nick Bannin. Nick, how are you doing today?
Esme, you know, this Tuesday feels a little Monday-like, but we're pushing through, right?
Yes, we're pushing through that fall weather finally getting here.
Yes, we've had some nights in the 60s, which have been nice, although one thing that's been kind of persistent over the last week is even though we've had our cool nights, our days have been warm and we've been super dry. Look at this. We're now on 26 days in a row without any measurable rain in Austin. And Esme, what would be your guess? We're going to play a little game here. What would be your guess for the longest stretch without any rain in a row in Austin history?
I would say around like 65 days.
65 days. Well, you would be off by a little bit. It is actually, and I've got to click the graphic here, 88 days. I know it's right behind you there. 88 days. Yeah, we had a stretch in 1894 into 1895 where we had 88 days in a row without measurable rain. So as long as it seems that it's been without any rain in Austin, specifically at Camp Mabry, there has been many longer stretches than what we're experiencing now. Although this stretch of 26 days without a raindrop is our longest stretch of this year so far. So we've been dry, and that has been reflected in the drought monitor, which continues to show expanded abnormal dryness. And I'll bring it back closer to home, and you can see the abnormal dryness there, which is that first level just before drought begins. Moderate drought is that stage 1, most of the area under abnormal dryness, although we're starting to see that spreading. So next up would be the spreading of drought after that. And just to dive into how dry September was, you can see the top few driest Septembers in Austin area history. We were actually in 11th place with just over 1/3 of an inch of rain in September. The only time we had rain was basically the first week of the month.
Yep.
And then we've been just dry ever since.
So, and it was just drizzling, right?
Yeah,
Not
we had some
rain.
drizzle. Of course, anything less than 1/100th of an inch of rain doesn't count as measurable rainfall. So that's why we're up to 0.37 of an inch. We've had some days with little sprinkles here and there. Of course, we had several inches of rain, more than a foot, that fell in Llano County that helped. It did cause some flooding, but it helped to boost our lake levels. Of course, Austin missed out on that. So that's why our dry stretch is going so long, Esme.
And we have an update from the Climate Prediction Center, right? From the last time we talked.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. I just want one more little recap.
Hottest September.
Yeah. Just because we finally got the confirmed final data in today about where last month stood in comparison to other Septembers. And it was our 10th hottest September in Austin area history. And one thing that's interesting to see is 7 of the top 10 hottest Septembers in Austin area history have all happened since the year 2000. So it's a good signal there as our climate warms that we're starting to see these numbers stacking up. But you mentioned October. So we had an update for you a couple of weeks ago or so when you and I spoke about the October forecast, and it was leaning a little drier and it was leaning a little warmer. So the new update that came out just yesterday has higher odds of the same thing. So when before it was just leaning, now it's leaning a little more likely for both drier and warmer. And you could see areas looking very likely to have a drier than normal October or closer to the Panhandle in North Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, that sort of thing. For us, we're a little deeper into this drier than normal expectation for October, which, by the way, is usually one of our wettest months of the year.
October?
So October is, yeah. So drier than normal wouldn't be good because it's usually a month that we can catch up on some rainfall before we head into what are usually some of our drier months in the winter. October temperatures have also leaned a little deeper toward the warmer than normal. Last month, it was sort of a little closer to near normal, warmer than normal, barely. But now we're deeper into that as we get closer to those darker reds into New Mexico, Arizona, the Four Corners. They're very likely to have a warmer than normal October. but our odds have increased for a warmer than normal October. And Esme, always good to go over what is normal in October, because it is a cooling month for us. We could still end up way warmer than normal and notice some cool periods here and there. But our average high, the beginning of the month, today, 87. At the end of the month, drops down to 77, 10-degree drop. Average low drops 10 degrees as well, from 66 this morning down to 56 on the final morning of October. So we do see some cooling. Whether we're warmer than normal or not, we will notice that temperatures slowly trend lower toward the end of the month because our days keep getting shorter. We're losing about 1 minute and 45 seconds of daylight every single day, and that will continue to help these numbers come down just by the pure fact that we're getting less sun every day. But we usually average almost 4 inches of rain, and that is our second wettest month of the year, coming after May. Now, May gets more than 5 inches, so October is a distant second place. But if we miss out on a lot of rain in October, even if it's just these first 2 weeks, which seem very dry, that would not put us in a good place heading into winter. It would not put us in a good place as far as our lake levels are concerned. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Thursday, and especially next Thursday, we'll really start to see that drought making a comeback. It hasn't so much yet. We've seen the abnormal dryness come back, as we mentioned, not so much the drought. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next couple of weeks or so, we'll start seeing more of that drought making a return to Central Texas, Esme.
And as far as that drought, what are we looking at right now? What are our levels at?
Yeah, so again, this is how the drought looks with the last report that came out on Thursday. We'll get another update to the drought here as we get into this Thursday. But you could see as I pop the legend on there, what we're looking at is most of the area in the metro and our eastern counties abnormally dry. The hill country not as bad, but you get into Gillespie, Blanco, then you get abnormally dry, and there's even that small, tiny little area in southern Gillespie County considered in a moderate drought. So this is where we stand now. We are much better off than we were several months ago. In fact, I've got a comparison of the drought that I can pop up for you of the latest drought versus what it was like 4 months ago. And sure, there are some areas that are drier now than 4 months ago, but we have really improved on the level 2 and level 3 drought, and even the moderate drought's been significantly kicked back over where it was 4 months ago. So we're in a much better place now, but we just need more water in the lakes, which would help us all. But we also need some more, top level of the soil moisture too to help out our grass and plants and trees and that sort of thing too.
Yeah, that's right. And so you kind of touched a little bit on what October is going to look like. Would you say it's a normal October, or are we going towards abnormal?
Yeah, both abnormal as far as the dryness and the temperatures go, leaning warmer and drier than normal.
Well, not some news I wanted to hear today.
No, I know. We're all just ready and waiting for those 50s and 60s in the morning and the highs in the 70s or even low 80s in the afternoon. We had such a nice taste of that here a couple of weeks ago, and we're just like, okay, when's it coming back?
Not anytime soon.
No, I mean, we can give you a preview here while we have some time.
I had prepared this little video to show about our update and our recap, and I don't think we're getting this weather anytime soon.
No. Was that was taken from a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I can pop the 7-day temperatures up and just give you a preview here. 87 is normal for this time of year, and every single day of the next week is looking warmer than normal. And there's barely a rain chance at all on our 7-day. The slimmest of rain opportunities coming as we head into the weekend. I can pop those in for you as well. Just a tiny chance Saturday and Sunday. 20% chance Saturday, 10% on the Sunday, as a weak system in the Gulf tries to throw a few showers our way. But, that's it. And if we get through this weekend without any rain in Austin, then we'll be talking closer to that 40 days probably without rain in the area. Easily our longest stretch of the year. Of course, we'd love for our luck to change, but, it does mean that outdoor activities are dry. You're not having to rearrange plans, but we really could use the rain.
So anyone ready for ACL this weekend, you got some good weather ahead of you.
Yeah, no doubt. And, and that is true too. We can't take away from that is that outdoor events like ACL Weekend 1 are going to prefer it be dry, although I think they would have preferred it be a little cooler as well with all the people standing outside in the afternoons. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were in the 90s, but they would prefer dry over wet for this particular weekend and then the one that follows.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a beautiful day full of sun this ACL weekend, so everyone be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants more information on this winter and October weather outlooks updates, Nick prepared a blog post on our website, KXAN.com, where he goes into detail, and there's graphics that you can catch up on, the drought outlook, October outlook, all that good stuff. We even have last week's video living in here if you want to go back and refresh and hear more. I
did update the October graphics in this blog from the new information that came out just yesterday. So we freshened it up there too, so that you can head to one place for that October forecast.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Nick. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we head out?
That's it. Of course, we'll be talking about the weekend rain chances and the latest on the tropics coming up on KXAN News starting at 4.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
And that's all we have for KXAN Live, Nick's first warning. We'll be back next week with more details on what he has to bring for us. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Esmeralda Zamora.